There is a subtle truth few people talk about, yet almost every man has felt it at least once in his life. Some women pass through him like seasons, remembered, appreciated, and then gently placed in the past. But there are others who do not leave, not because of obsession or regret, but because they settle somewhere deeper, beyond memory, beyond logic. They remain as an imprint. A man may move on. He may build another life, another routine, another relationship. And yet, from time to time, something stirs inside him, a sensation he cannot name, a familiar tension in the chest, a quiet comparison he never consciously makes. And he wonders why one woman, among many, still echoes inside him. As Carl Jung said, nothing has a stronger psychological influence on their environment, especially on their children, than the unlived life of the parent. In the same way, nothing leaves a deeper mark on a man than the woman with whom something essential remained unfinished, not externally, but internally. Certain women awaken parts of him he did not know existed, not through drama, not through dependence, but through presence. She mirrors something back to him, his potential, his depth, his vulnerability, and once that door has been opened, it can never be fully closed again. This is not about perfection. It is not about beauty or charm alone. It is about resonance, about how she made him feel himself in a way no one else quite did. In Jung's view, the psyche remembers not events, but symbols. And some women become symbols of freedom, truth, intensity, or a version of himself he only accessed with her. That is why forgetting her is not a decision. It is a psychological impossibility, because forgetting her would mean forgetting who he was when he was with her. And even when years pass, even when life seems full, the imprint remains. Quiet, dormant, but alive. This is where the story truly begins. A man does not remember a woman because she tried to stay. He remembers her because she did not disappear inside him. She entered a place deeper than habit, the unconscious, where logic has no authority and time does not erase impressions. In Jung's view, the unconscious is not passive. It records emotional truth long before the mind understands it. That is why a man may say he has moved on, yet his inner reactions betray him. He reacts strongly to women who resemble her energy. He withdraws from those who feel empty by comparison. He may not know why, but his psyche remembers. Certain women activate what Jung called the anima, the inner feminine image that shapes how a man experiences love, meaning, and emotional depth. When a woman aligns closely with this inner image, she does not feel external to him. She feels familiar, symbolic, almost inevitable. That is why being with her felt natural, even when it was difficult. Why silence with her felt fuller than conversation with others. Why her absence later feels disproportionate to the actual length of the relationship. The imprint was never about duration. It was about depth. She did not force herself into his life. She entered through resonance, through authenticity, through emotional truth that did not ask to be validated. And the unconscious responds powerfully to what is real. This is why he cannot simply replace her. Replacement works on the surface, but what she touched lies beneath it. Jung said that what is unconscious seeks expression, and until it is integrated, it repeats itself. This is why he compares without wanting to, why he searches for something unnamed, why something always feels slightly missing. She did not leave him empty. She left him aware. And awareness, once awakened, never returns to sleep. This is not nostalgia. It is psychological recognition, and it is only beginning to reveal its power. Most men confuse attachment with impact. Attachment fades when conditions change. An imprint does not. And the women a man cannot forget belong to the second category, not because they held on, but because they altered something inside him. Attachment is rooted in comfort, routine, and emotional dependency. It creates familiarity, but not transformation. An imprint, however, is born when a woman does not adapt herself to be loved. She remains herself, even if it risks loss. And paradoxically, that is what stays. In Jung's view, transformation occurs when the ego is confronted with something it cannot control. Certain women represent exactly that. She did not mold herself to his expectations. She did not chase security at the cost of truth. And because of this, she confronted him with his own inner contradictions. He felt seen, but also challenged, drawn, but also unsettled, alive, but also exposed. And this combination is unforgettable. That is why he remembers not her actions, but how he felt in her presence, how his inner world sharpened, how parts of him woke up that had been dormant. She did not complete him. She activated him. And activation is dangerous for the psyche, because once a man experiences emotional depth, he cannot return to emotional flatness without feeling the absence. Jung wrote that when an archetype is activated, it restructures the personality. This is why after her, something is different. He may date others who are kind, attentive, even loving, yet something feels muted, because they touch him on a conscious level, while she reached the unconscious. She did not demand to be remembered. She became impossible to forget. And the most unsettling part is this. He often understands her value only after she is gone, because while she was present, he experienced her, but only in absence does he recognize her. This is the quiet beginning of longing, not for her return, but for the version of himself he was when he stood next to her. And that longing does not fade with time. It deepens with awareness. There is a paradox at the heart of male memory. A man often does not fully feel a woman while she is present. He experiences her, yes, but the depth of her meaning reveals itself later, in silence, when her presence is no longer accessible. While she was there, life moved. Words were exchanged. Moments unfolded. But after she leaves, something slows down inside him. And in that stillness, her imprint begins to speak. Jung believed that separation is one of the great catalysts of consciousness. When something meaningful disappears, the psyche is forced to turn inward. This is when a man begins to understand not what he had, but what it awakened in him. Her absence becomes a mirror, not of loss, but of contrast. Suddenly, other connections feel thinner. Conversations feel functional. Emotional closeness feels simulated. And he cannot explain why. Nothing is wrong, and yet something essential is missing, because what he lost was not just her presence. He lost access to a certain depth of himself. She was not loud. She did not demand to be understood. She did not cling. And precisely because of this, her memory is not tied to conflict or chaos. It is tied to clarity, to a feeling of inner alignment he rarely experiences again. This is why time does not erase her. Time removes distraction. And without distraction, the psyche returns to what mattered most. He may recall small details, her calm, her gaze, the way she occupied silence without tension. But beneath these images is something deeper, the sense that with her, he was closer to who he could be. And that realization arrives too late. A man forgets women who made him comfortable. He cannot forget the woman who made him conscious, because she is no longer just a memory. She is a reference point. And from that point on, every connection is unconsciously measured against the depth she once made possible. This is not regret. It is recognition, delayed, irreversible, and quietly transformative. There is one detail that separates the women a man remembers from the ones he replaces. She did not revolve around him. Her world existed before him and continued after him. And this independence is what carved the deepest imprint. She did not ask him to choose her. She assumed her own worth. In Jung's view, the psyche is drawn not to what is available, but to what is whole. A woman who is internally anchored does not seek validation. She radiates self-containment. And this quietly destabilizes a man who is used to being the center of emotional gravity. With her, he felt wanted, not needed, desired, not responsible. And this distinction is crucial, because when a woman does not chase, a man cannot relax into complacency. He must show up consciously. He must choose. And many men only realize the weight of that choice when the opportunity is passed. She did not over-explain. She did not beg for clarity. She did not negotiate her place in his life. Her boundaries were not spoken loudly, they were lived. And this created a psychological tension that stayed long after the relationship ended. He remembers her because she never shrank herself to be held. She never abandoned herself to be loved. Jung said that projection fades when reality asserts itself. And with her, projection collapsed quickly. He could not turn her into a fantasy because she remained real, grounded, unavailable to illusion. This is why, after her, he struggles with women who overgive, who overadapt, who offer themselves too easily, because unconsciously, he learned that depth cannot be rushed and intimacy cannot be forced. She taught him something without trying to teach him anything at all. And when she walked away, calmly, without drama, she left behind not confusion, but respect. The kind that arrives late and stays permanently. Because a woman who does not chase leaves a man with one haunting realization. He was not abandoned. He was not chosen anymore. And that truth echoes far longer than rejection ever could. After her, something subtle begins to happen. A man may not consciously admit it, but he starts searching, not for her exactly, but for the feeling she once awakened. And this is where the quiet tragedy begins. He meets other women. Some are warmer, some are easier, some are more available, more accommodating, more eager to stay. And yet, something does not ignite. He waits for a familiar inner shift, the sharpness, the clarity, the sense of inner alignment, but it never fully arrives. Because what he is searching for cannot be recreated externally. In Jung's view, when a person encounters a powerful inner image and loses it, the psyche attempts repetition. But repetition without awareness only leads to frustration. He looks for her depth in others, but depth is not a trait. It is a state of being. She was not profound because of what she did. She was profound because of who she was when she did nothing at all. And that cannot be imitated. This is why he may feel inexplicably disappointed by women who seem perfect on paper. Why attraction fades quickly. Why emotional connection feels short-lived. Because unconsciously, his standard has shifted, not upward, but inward. She recalibrated him. He now knows what real presence feels like, what emotional integrity feels like, what it means to be with a woman who does not perform intimacy, but embodies it. And once that knowledge exists, illusion loses its power. Jung said that once consciousness expands, regression becomes painful. And this pain is what follows him quietly. Not dramatic suffering, but a dull awareness that something rare has already passed through his life. This is why he sometimes thinks of her without wanting to. Why her name surfaces unexpectedly. Why certain moments, a look, a pause, a silence, bring her back instantly. Not because he wants to return to the past, but because part of him recognizes that something essential was touched and left. And no amount of replacement can undo that recognition. Because some women do not become memories. They become measures. And every encounter after her is felt against that invisible scale. There comes a quiet moment, often unexpected, when a man finally understands the truth he avoided for a long time. It does not arrive with drama or regret. It arrives in clarity. He realizes that meeting her altered the way he experiences connection forever. Not because she stayed, but because she initiated something inside him. Jung believed that true encounters do not end when people part ways. They continue inwardly, reshaping the psyche long after physical presence disappears. And this is exactly what happens with certain women. She becomes part of his inner structure. He notices it in how he can no longer tolerate shallow closeness, in how emotional inconsistency irritates him now, in how he feels restless in relationships that once would have satisfied him. Something in him has matured, and maturity is irreversible. She did not raise his standards deliberately. She revealed them. And this is why her memory carries no bitterness, only gravity, a weight that reminds him that once he touched something real, and that returning to emotional comfort zones now feels like self-betrayal. He may never speak of her again. He may not reach out. He may not even consciously miss her. But he carries her influence quietly, like a recalibration of his inner compass. This is the deepest reason a man cannot forget certain women. They mark a turning point. Before her, he loved unconsciously. After her, he cannot. And this awareness brings both loss and growth. Because once a man knows what emotional integrity feels like, he cannot unknow it. He must either rise to it, or feel perpetually dissatisfied without understanding why. Jung said that encounters which activate the self demand responsibility. And even if he resists it, her presence has already set something in motion. She did not remain in his life, but she remained in his becoming. And that is a far deeper form of permanence than memory could ever be. One of the most misunderstood ideas about emotional imprint is the belief that it survives only if contact continues. But the women a man cannot forget do not rely on presence. Their influence is already internalized. She does not need to call. She does not need to remind him. She does not need to return, because what she awakened is already living inside him. Jung spoke of inner figures that continue to shape us long after the outer relationship ends. Once a woman becomes part of a man's inner landscape, she no longer belongs to time or circumstance. She becomes a psychological reference, an inner experience he carries forward unconsciously. That is why he can go years without seeing her and still feel her relevance. Why hearing a certain truth, encountering a certain depth, or facing a moment of honesty brings her back instantly. She is no longer associated with longing, but with meaning. And this is crucial. A man does not miss her in the way people miss comfort. He remembers her in the way people remember initiation. She initiated him into a deeper emotional reality, one he cannot abandon without feeling hollow. This is why even happy moments later in life sometimes feel incomplete, not because something is wrong, but because something has been added to his awareness. She raised the internal bar, and once that bar exists, he cannot lower it without betraying himself. So even if he never reaches out, even if he never speaks her name, he remains silently loyal to what she represented. This is why she does not fade. She integrates. Jung believed that what is integrated becomes part of the self. And when that happens, it no longer seeks external resolution. It simply is. She does not haunt him. She grounds him. She reminds him, quietly and without force, that depth exists and that he once touched it. And that reminder follows him not as pain, but as orientation. Because some women are not meant to stay in your life. They are meant to stay in your psyche. And that is why she never needs to return to be unforgettable. There is an unexpected shift that happens as years pass. Instead of fading, her significance becomes clearer. Not louder, clearer. Time strips away fantasy, projection, and emotional noise. And what remains is essence. This is when respect deepens. A man may not speak about her, but internally, he places her apart. Not above others, outside comparison. Because she represents something that did not depend on circumstances, moods, or convenience. She stood in herself. In Jung's view, time reveals archetypal truth. What is superficial dissolves. What is real consolidates. And this is why, long after emotions have settled, he still regards her with a quiet seriousness. She was not dramatic. She was not chaotic. She did not demand remembrance. And because of that, she is remembered with dignity. He sees now what he could not fully see then. Her emotional discipline, her inner alignment, the way she chose herself without hostility. He recognizes that she did not leave to punish him. She left because she would not abandon herself. And this realization matures into respect. This is also why he does not trivialize her story. He does not reduce her to an ex. He does not speak lightly about her, because doing so would feel like betraying something sacred, not in her, but in himself. She marks the moment he understood that not all women are meant to be kept, but some are meant to be recognized. Jung said that wisdom often arrives long after experience, and her role in his life becomes wisdom, a silent benchmark that informs his future choices, even if he never names it. This is why her memory feels calm, not obsessive, clear, not nostalgic, firm, not emotional, because she no longer belongs to desire. She belongs to truth, and truth does not fade with time. It gains weight. This is the quiet respect reserved only for women who never asked to be remembered, yet are impossible to forget. In the end, the reason a man cannot forget certain women has nothing to do with loss, and everything to do with transformation. She did not take something from him. She revealed something to him. And what is revealed cannot be unseen. She showed him a level of emotional truth that altered his inner landscape. Not by trying, not by teaching, but by being. And that is why her influence is permanent. Jung believed that the most important encounters in life are those that move us closer to the self, to our most authentic form. Certain women serve exactly this function. They arrive not to stay, but to awaken, to confront, to initiate. She did not need to win him. She did not need to hold him. She did not need to prove anything. Her power was quieter and far more enduring. Long after the relationship ends, long after circumstances change, she continues to shape how he loves, what he tolerates, what he seeks, and what he can no longer accept. She becomes the silent standard his psyche refers back to when something feels off, shallow, or false. This is why he cannot forget her, even when he wants to. Because forgetting her would require forgetting the man he became because of her. She represents the moment he touched emotional depth without illusion. The moment he understood that connection is not about possession, but recognition. That love is not intensity, but truth. And perhaps the most powerful part of all is this. She does not need to know the impact she had. Her life continues. Her path unfolds. Her energy returns to herself. And somewhere, quietly, a man carries the imprint of a woman who never tried to be unforgettable, yet became exactly that. As Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. She was that reaction, not a chapter, not a memory, but a turning point. And that is why, long after love ends, she remains,